What is going on, you guys? I miss talking to you. As always, this is Turnbuckle Times 10 Count AEW edition. My boy Adam, you guys know him as the WWE provider on our channel. And it's Saturday. I wanted to kind of take a little bit of time process Grand Slam. This is all it's going to be, you guys. It's just going to be Grand Slam recap. Because you had Grand Slam Dynamite, you had Grand Slam Rampage. I'm going to still try to keep it at 10 minutes. It's going to be interesting to see if we can do it. So let's just jump right in. If you guys haven't, please make sure you're hitting the subscribe button at the end of this video. We're at I think 76, 77. We're trying to get to that 100 mark. Please rate, review, subscribe, share, like, follow, whatever you want to do. Please do those things. It helps us grow, helps us kind of continue to have a little bit of fun. So let's just jump right in. AEW Grand Slam. So first and foremost, biggest event AEW has ever done, hands down. Arthur Ashe Stadium, 20,000 plus. It was in the heart of WWE country in New York City, in a place that has never hosted a wrestling event. So it was a massive event for them. For those who don't watch a lot of AEW, they do this stuff kind of all the time, not this grand size, but they do these special Dynamite, special Rampages. Rampage, The First Dance, Fighter Fest, nights 1 and 2, Road Rager. These are on TV events because they do about 4 to 5 pay-per-views per year. So Grand Slam had a lot of buzz because there was a lot of stuff building to this. Some of it happened beforehand. Some of it obviously happened at it. But let's kind of go one by one pretty quickly here. First match of the night. They don't wait. They don't hesitate. It's the Kenny Omega, Bryan Danielson fight. Okay, so for those who don't pay attention, 5 stars. Dave Meltzer from Wrestling Observer already gave it 5 stars. It is the first 5-star match in Bryan Danielson's 22-year career. It's insane. I don't know what it is for Kenny Omega. It's probably like 12. But, man, it was good. It was such a good match. You actually heard Eddie Kingston say that he's pretty sure that match caused people to fall in love with wrestling again because it damn sure made half the locker room fall in love with wrestling again. Back and forth, back and forth. 30-minute time limit. AEW does this a lot. They do time limits on their matches quite a bit. Most of the time it's 30 minutes. And it was a great way to end it. It was so back and forth. And it was such a great way to just have the time expire. You know, it's kind of like it's a draw. No one wins. No one loses. No one's over. No one's under. And it kind of perpetuates going forward a little bit. Obviously, you know, you had just amazing maneuver after amazing maneuver. It was every bit of what you thought it would be. It was half the show, you know. It was half the first half of the show. My bad. But it was amazing. At the end, bell rings. Out come the Elite. Out come brand new Adam Cole, baby. To quote my Adam Raymer, baby. Shows up, and then Jurassic Express, Christian Cage. It's this good build. It's this good build for it. And honestly, it keeps it going without hurting anybody. Hands down, best match of the night. Next up, you had MJF, Brian Pillman Jr. I'm not going to say it was bad. I'm not going to say it was good. Y'all know my feelings about Brian Pillman Jr. I don't think he's ready quite yet to be kind of in a program of that stature because he's kind of got the two rubs a little bit. He's kind of got the Varsity Blondes, which is the equivalent of the Hollywood Blondes, like his dad. And he's kind of got a little bit of the Unhinged, the most famous character of Brian Pillman's. Just didn't quite feel like he's quite ready to be up that way. So it was a good match. I'd give it a B. I'd give obviously the first one's A+++, whatever you want to do. But it was okay. It was not the worst one of the night. Nor was it the best because there really wasn't any, in my opinion, really any bad. Next up, Malachi and Cody. Okay. So Cody makes his triumphant return, right? And y'all know from watching this, I had a lot of worries about that because I felt like he was going to squash Malachi. And I think Malachi is doing a very good job of getting over at this point and really kind of being booked the way he should. And Cody is known to squash people. And he didn't. They actually, one of the more intriguing parts. Well, first, one of my favorite parts was he ducked out of the ring and in popped a returning Brandy Rhodes, who sit cross-legged in front of Malachi after he did his traditional cross-legged sit down and literally mouthed "you" and flipped the bird to him, which I thought was fantastic. But then you could see that they are building, I think, towards a Cody Rhodes heel turn because he was booed relentlessly throughout the entire thing. He seemed confused by it. There were times he looked at the crowd. There were times that Arn Anderson looked at the crowd. Malachi is a dark dude, and he's not supposed to be cheered, and he was 100% cheered, and Cody was booed. It's not over because obviously Malachi won with like the black spit in the face of Cody, kind of, and then a roll up. So I don't think it's over, but I could see Cody having a heel turn. I think it'd be beneficial for him. He plays a really good heel. I mean, he's the American Nightmare. Nightmares don't tend to be good. So it would be a really interesting thing to see. But overall, I mean, B plus, somewhere around there. Somewhere around there, maybe. And then kind of round out the night, you had the Darby Allin and Sting versus FTR. Good match. It's always fun to see Sting kind of get into that ring, see him kind of mix it up a little bit, see how he does. And overall, not bad. Not bad. And then to end it, when we're going to end talking about Dynamite at least, was Ruby Soho and Britt Baker. So you guys know my thought. I kind of thought Ruby had a chance because I don't think it would have hurt Britt to lose. And it was a really good match. It was a really, really good match. Second best match probably of the night, in my opinion. A lot of back and forth. I hate to see Ruby go down to the lockjaw just because I hate seeing him tap. Took a really nasty kind of curb stomp that was with her hair and the way she flings it. Looked fantastic when Britt did it. Really back and forth. There was a couple of times that she caught her in moves that looked like it. I don't think that's over quite yet. I had discussions with Adam before this too and said, I don't really know who they're going to look to unseat Britt, considering it's very, very deep. I do think eventually Jade Cargill will get to that point, but she's not there yet, and Britt can't hold it for like another year while they wait for her to get there. There's got to be some kind of changeover, some kind of turnaround. So, all in all, the first night, and you had I don't want to be remiss. You did have Punk coming out and giving his promo about taking on Powerhouse Hobbs, and them trying to steal his joy of coming out and enjoying Cult of Personality. He's great on the mic. Whenever he comes out, it's gold. So that was kind of fun too. Overall, Dynamite portion was great. 2 hours long. Then we get to Rampage, which was a special 2 hours, which was kind of weird. I don't know how you guys watched it on your TV. It was 2 separate episodes. On my TV, it was like back-to-back Rampage episodes. And if you did look closely, and Tony Khan had said this, these were filmed at the same time. You could see the same people in the crowd, so it was a 4-hour show. So some of this, you could kind of see some of the energy waning slightly. They did it right. First match right out the chute, you had Punk come out, take on Powerhouse Hobbs. Punk come out in his traditional trunks. Loved that. He still looks great. Hobbs looked good. There was a spot where I think they botched a potential almost botch because Punk got busted open pretty extensively on his face, was bleeding a lot. It looked like, and then Hobbs got dropped on like the side of his head. So it kind of slowed the pace of the match. Punk continues to look great. I don't know if he's done with Team Taz. I have a huge issue with Hook. It's a whole different thing. I've seen Hook there for a year, and I can't remember seeing him wrestle. I don't know really what he does. But even at the end of the match, you see it again. Punk hits the GTS, wins the match, kind of sits there for a second, and you know he's having a conversation quietly, through like the ways wrestlers do. And he gives 2 pats to Hobbs' chest and says something. And you know that it's a rub. That's what that is. He's telling him, hey, good job, man. It was a thumbs up. Like he's encouraging the young talent because Hobbs is pretty young. But you can't, when Punk's on the card, I don't think you can do anything but start with Punk or it'll dominate the night. So it was good. It was good. Next one up, Adam Cole, baby, and the newly formed, I'm trying to remember the Elite Click, something a click. I'm trying to remember what they call themselves. I'm looking here trying to remember. But they came out as Adam Cole and the Young Bucks come out, take on Christian Cage and Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus is like one of the most underrated people ever. He's so freaking athletic. He's doing like flips and turns and jumps and dives and just insane stuff. Jungle Boy continues to be probably one of the most over young talent, homegrown like Darby Allin on the entire AEW roster. He looked great. Christian blows my mind every time I watch him. Adam Cole continues to look fantastic. Great match back and forth. A lot of show of athleticism. The Elite take the win. Adam Cole actually takes the win for the most part, except for I gotta say this. The one gripe I have is I hate the fact that there's they don't take it seriously in these ones where when interference comes in, they can end the match or they kick him out because literally he hit the Panama Sunrise and then he kind of flipped up, right? And they came in and hit the BTE trigger right in front of the ref, and then he pinned him, and that was that. So it was I hate that. Setting up a very interesting dynamic at the end with Jungle Boy kind of coming back in to check on Luchasaurus and kind of making eye contact, having a little bit of back and forth talk with Adam Cole. So that would be really fun to watch. Adam Cole versus Jungle Boy. I think they play really, really well off of each other. But overall, yet again, good match, solid match, entertaining match. Men of the Year, which is Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page and Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. Jake Hager looks so awkward in the ring. I'm sorry. It's so freaking weird. It really is. Men of the Year, they do a great job of making you hate them. I don't like either one of them, but they do a great job of making you dislike them. And obviously, what is it? Team, who is it? Who is it that comes out? Dan Lambert. That's it. I want to make sure I had his name right. And very interesting because, so the match was okay. They took a win by some interference. They started beating up on Lambert, Jericho, and Hager did because they took the L. What I mean by very interesting is the amount of MMA fighters that came out at the end. 2 specifically that I can think of that piqued my interest. One, Paige Van Zandt, because she is not that good of an MMA fighter and could very easily make this transition. But the most interesting one that I am shocked has any approval to step foot inside a wrestling ring is Jorge Masvidal. He came in with a flying knee and took out Jericho. In the ring, this dude is legit. This guy is a really, really talented MMA fighter and a huge moneymaker for Dana White, the UFC. So I was shocked to see him come strutting out. It was a very interesting ending to that match. That kind of bumped it up for me. Then you go into who I can't stand. The Hardy family office. I don't like Matt Hardy. Obviously, he cuts a promo beforehand. They're going to have a match. Him and my boy Orange Cassidy, hair versus hair. I don't see them cutting Orange's hair, so I see that one being an Orange win, who will freshly squeeze Matt Hardy. But you had them versus the Lucha Brothers and Santana and Ortiz. Love the fact Santana and Ortiz came out dressed as the baseball gang from the Warriors. If you guys don't know what that is, look it up. It's so cool. That was really cool. I love when they come out in their face paint, their war paint as they call it, because they're a great tag team. Very interesting too, because they are probably the next one up under the Lucha Brothers as a legitimate threat to the tag titles. I think people will be really happy to see them win it. Good back and forth match. Who won is who should have won, which was Lucha Brothers and Santana and Ortiz. Was very happy with the outcoming there. Only match on the entire stuff that I didn't like, Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford. The only true thing to come out of this was at the end, her kind of getting beat up allowed the Dark Order to come back out, and they seemed to be on the same page until Evil Uno was like, no, peace, I'm out. I'm not ready for this. I don't want to talk to you guys. So that was the only really interesting thing. Ty Conti came out, she got jacked up, and I love Ty Conti. But that one didn't really do it to me. That was a slow one. And then obviously to end it out was Moxley and Kingston versus, I want to say his name right, Sekiro and Lance Archer. A lot of questions of where Lance Archer had been because he's been off TV for a little while. He's back without Jake the Snake. He's working more of that New Japan angle. He is the New Japan, the IWGP North American champion, so he's been off TV for those. Interesting because it was a lights out match, which is kind of like Last Man Standing. A little brutal at times. I mean, they duct taped Moxley's hands behind his head and just beat the tar out of him with some kendo sticks for a while. And you had some outside. I think it was Machine Gun Uzi. I'm trying to remember his name. He's a friend of Eddie Kingston. He came in at the end to kind of try to help out Mox not get obliterated. So a lot going on. I wanted to touch on all of them. You had some promos. You had Andrada discussing the fact that why he got rid of Chavo. I think we all know the real reason, which is that Ric Flair's on his way more than likely. I'll be excited to see him fight. They announced that fight. They announced a lot of fights for Dynamite next week, and it's a big week too. It's a big week because Dynamite, there's stuff brewing. There's a lot of rumors on what's going to happen in Dynamite next week. I'll be excited to get on here and talk to you guys about it because I believe, obviously, everyone knows the biggest rumor is Bray Wyatt showing up. It looks like there's a clause. I saw this today. There is a clause in his non-compete that will allow him to break the non-compete, but they will not pay him for the 90 days he said he was supposed to sit out. And Dynamite is in Rochester, New York, which is the hometown of Brody Lee, which is Bray Wyatt's best friend who passed away last year. Everyone knows who Brody Lee is. But there's a lot of stuff coming. They laid out some really good match cards. Overall, it was amazing. There were matches in there I didn't like, but I mean, you had just the amazing match between Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega. It's going to take some getting used to a little bit. You had that. You had the fun one with, the Lucha Brothers and and Santana and Ortiz versus Hardy Family Office. You just had a lot going on. You had CM Punk fighting for the first time in 7 years on non-paid TV. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Next week's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you subscribe. Adam will be dropping his Monday night one on Monday night for Raw and as well as SmackDown. And make sure you tune in because I'm sure he will be doing something in regards to reaction to Extreme Rules. So I got nothing else. Please subscribe. I'm out.